I'm Jordan Wheeler of Blue Star Nutraceuticals, and I'm here with national bikini competitor and our goddess of glutes, Hailey Goss.
And this is the bigger, better booty workout.
Look guys, I know you may not think this video applies to you, but if your deadlift and squat suck, or you're trying to improve explosion and power at sports, then it's time to realize that the glutes are a huge muscle group with tons of untapped potential.
Instagram is flooded with models that have fake butt implants. They're always selling their workout programs for a quick buck, yet they're never really transparent in how they really build their booty. They always prescribe low-intensity bodyweight exercises and silly kickbacks. This stuff just won't cut it. So if your girl is trying to build her booty, make sure she watches this video.
The glutes are made up of three main muscles: the Glute Maximus, which is the largest posterior muscle, the Glute Medius, and the Glute Minimus, all of which are involved in hip extension, abduction, external rotation, and posterior pelvic tilt.
In order to train your glutes, you need to work all three muscles and perform exercises involving all four of these primary functions.
Hailey's going to take you through a full glute workout with equipment that you can find at your typical gym. Then she'll show you some additional exercises on some of the specialty equipment we've got here. We'll list the full workouts for both women and men in the description below. Let's get right into it. Many people find it difficult to establish a strong mind-muscle connection with the glutes, so it's always best to start with some light glute activation exercises as a dynamic warm-up before getting into the real work. We're going to get into the first main exercise in this workout, the barbell hip thrust. This is one of the best single exercises you can perform for developing glutes, as it allows you to use maximum loads and combines almost all the functions of the glutes in one movement. At the top, you get full hip extension with some posterior pelvic tilt at the peak. If you turn your toes out slightly, you also provide stimulus for the function of external rotation of the hips as well. Try to push through your heels. Keep your knees out, look forward, keep your upper back tight and to the bench. Brace your core and squeeze your glutes at the top of the movement. Next, we move on to reverse V squats on the power squat machine. Again, having your toes pointing outwards creates that external rotation. Performing squats on this machine allows you to get a deep stretch in the glute maximus and hamstrings, along with a great contraction in the glutes with the hip extension at the top. Make sure not to round your back and push with your heels, not your toes. Stiff leg deadlifts are a killer exercise that allows you to place the glutes and hamstrings under very heavy loads. The key here is when lowering the bar, you want to push your hips back and stretch the glutes. Then contract them and drive the hips forward as you pull the bar back up. Be sure to keep your back straight throughout this whole exercise. If you don't have the flexibility in the hamstrings, you won't be able to go down all the way to the floor. So just go as far as you can with good form. Exercise 4, 45-degree rounded hyperextension. Set the pad right below your pelvic bone and ensure your toes are pointed outward. To activate your glutes, round your back and keep it rounded throughout the entire range of motion. Then lower your body down, and on the way up, squeeze the glutes and press your pelvis into the pad. Exercise 5, sumo squats. Although research suggests that the hip thrust is superior to squats for glute activation, they still have a place in a booty building program. To hit your glutes and posterior better, take a wider stance, toes pointed out. When you lower down, focus on moving your hips back first and sticking your rear end out. Core tight, neutral spine, and head position. And then push up off your heels, keeping your knees pointed out, and squeeze your glutes at the top. Exercise 6, machine hip abductors. Finally, since the majority of the exercises have been more focused on hip extension and external rotation, working mostly the glute maximus, these hip abductors are going to work hip abduction exclusively and target the smaller glute medius and minimus muscles. On this exercise, turning your toes slightly in will actually increase the activation of the glute medius. So, Hailey's going to perform these with a slight internal rotation and ensure she's firing the medius to its full extent. Okay, that's a wrap for your workout you can perform at your typical gym. Now, if you have a well-equipped gym, like the Blue Star Nutraceuticals facility, you've got some options to toss into the mix. Let's go over them quickly. Inverse curl machine. This machine assists you to properly perform a Russian leg curl until you're actually strong enough to do it with your own body weight. This is the best exercise to work your hamstrings. And since they tie into the glutes, it's a great exercise to perform. You'll see a lot of people online attempt this movement without this machine and end up basically giving up control of the movement halfway down and end up pushing up off the floor. Don't do that. You're taking the constant tension off the muscle. If it does anything at all, it's creating uneven strength developments, which may lead to injury. Next, we've got the vertical leg press. Although the leg press is generally thought to be a quad exercise, the vertical angle and placing your feet a bit higher on the platform allows for a greater stretch and involvement of the glutes and hamstrings during this exercise. Again, you want to turn your toes slightly out to create that external rotation and work the glutes even more. Belt squat machine. This machine allows you to perform the squat movement, but the weight is loaded on your hips instead of your spine. It's a great way to perform the squat movement as we previously outlined without beating up your back. It tractions out your back and pulls your pelvis forward into position. The reverse hyper machine is widely used for physical therapy and back rehab exercise. It can reduce low back tightness and strengthen hamstrings, glutes, hips, and more. It's great to toss in at the end of a leg workout. Okay, we hope you enjoyed this video. As promised, the workout examples are below in the description for both women and men.
Smash that thumbs up button, subscribe to our channel, and until next time, keep training hard.